Another Fox Business alert: a controversial plan to give driver's licenses to illegal immigrants has died a quick death. A question about the proposal got Hillary Clinton in some trouble in the last presidential debate.
And now New York Governor Eliot Spitzer is dropping the idea that he proposed. Is that a good thing for the economy? We're going to throw that question out to our panel. Mike Norman, founder of Economic Contrarian Update. Jim Pettakakis, once again, from U.S. News and World Report. We have Nicole Ridgway from SmartMoney.com. And Peter Schiff of Euro Pacific Capital and author of Crash Proof. Welcome to all of you. Mikey, you take this one first. What do you think?
It's an unpopular subject. Most of the public are against the illegal immigrants being here. The problem is they're here, so they're being a little bit naive. We got to come to a solution. It would have been great if they came here legally, the 11 or 12 million that are here. They are not. The other thing I think where there's a bit of naivete is that this country's economic future is going to be highly dependent on immigration. Again, we need an immigration policy. There's no question. For the ones that are here right now, 11 to 12 million, let's say there was a mistake. Somehow they got in here illegally. I think it's probably better to document them, to know where they are, to keep, tabs on them.
With driver's licenses.
Whatever method, with driver's licenses, but to know where they are, to document them, to have oversight over them.
Peter, look, I love immigrants. I married an immigrant. I have immigrants in my family, but at the same time, what the immigrants who are here illegally are often doing with these driver's licenses, and let's not forget that a number, I think the majority of the 9/11 hijackers had legitimate driver's licenses, even though they weren't here properly. What they're doing with these driver's licenses should not be done by illegal immigrants. That's the problem.
I think, you send a real mixed message. On the one hand, you want people to respect our immigration laws, but then you hand out licenses to people who knowingly violated them. I mean, I believe we should have more immigration, but I do believe it should be legal, and I think we should reform the magnets and the problems of immigration is the social welfare state. The problem is we dole out too much money to people who come across the border. Back in the turn of the century, when we had the big immigration wave, when my grandparents came here from Europe, when they came to Ellis Island, there was nobody from the welfare department. They just showed up and went and got a job, and there were no government benefits. There was no safety net. We want to encourage immigrants to come in and work hard, but we don't want to put them on the government dole, and that's been the problem.
Let me focus this back to the original question, Nicole, and that is, will it hurt the economy if these people can't get driver's licenses to continue doing work in contracting, in landscaping, etc.?
Well, I don't necessarily think it's going to hurt the economy in the respect that I don't think a lot of illegal immigrants are probably going to come out of the woodwork to get these licenses in the first place, because it is a big scarlet letter on them, like they can be tracked down. And if you're an illegal immigrant who can't afford to, pay the legal fees and do all this stuff to go through the proper channels to get a green card, say, you're going to try to stay, as in the shadows as much as possible. Now, that said, a lot of our economy, we do rely very heavily on immigrant workers. So, whether or not this driver's license policy is in place.
And Jim Pettakakis, the reason why this plan was derided and why perhaps it was eventually pulled was, if I'm an illegal immigrant and I have a chance to get a pretty good-looking fake document or a legitimate document saying that I'm an illegal alien, I'm going to choose the fake, right?
Well, the driver's license serves as our national ID card. And if you can get that, even if there's something on it that says this is a different tier of driver's license and it's not used for identification, de facto it is going to be used for identification. So you've created then a document which will be kind of a breeder document to get all these other documents which can be used to get on airplanes and so forth. If I could just quickly get back to what Nicole said, one of the great myths of the illegal immigration debate is somehow we need all this low-skilled labor, and we really don't. We need immigration. We need high-skilled immigrants. That's great, but the actual economic impact of low-skilled immigration is very minimal. I know people are going to say, "Who's going to pick all the vegetables and fruits?" But you know what? If those wages went up, you could get Americans to do that.
If,
or more
that's
likely,
a huge if.
Or more, listen, or more likely, you're going to mechanize that. You will mechanize that just as they've done in Europe. That is a huge myth. I mean, if you want illegal immigrants for political, cultural reasons, fine, but it's not an economic case.
Mike.
No, Jim is right. I mean, it's not an economic case, and I mean, we might end up paying more for fruits and vegetables, and some food prices might rise minimally, but you would create a market for, a demand for American workers.
Okay.
So I think he's right in that point.